Before the video begins, a few disclaimers. I want you to know that everything here not only is my opinion, but many things I will say have been repeated around the internet quite a bit already. If you want to watch a better video, try watching Mother's Basements, the link is in the description. I will also spoil as far as the anime is spoiled, so until the end of episode 5. The clips I'll be showing are from Kiss Anime, as Crunchyroll doesn't have this show in Italy. Having said this, the Persona 5 animation has been airing for over a month now, and the longer it goes on, the more I feel like must be said about how much wrong it has been doing to properly portray the story of the game. A story that, mind you, is not one of the best stories ever told, and in the game it mostly functions to support the structure that was built for the Persona series since 3. The game, despite a just slightly above average but definitely not fantastic story, is still incredible and can easily be a contender for the best JRPG ever made because of how well story, gameplay, how its every element perfectly meshes together. Why am I saying this? I just want it to be clear, Persona 5's strong point is not the story. An anime adaptation, though, has to rely heavily on the characters and events. The world around Rand and his friends has to be the focus. And so far, the animation seems to be ignoring this completely. The creators themselves seem to be missing why the elements that make Persona 5 so good were in the game in the first place. And that is one of the main two complaints I have about the anime. Things are there to be there. I'm not being clear here, let's be more specific. Why is this here? That's the main question I keep asking myself during every episode. Let's give you a few examples so that we're both on the same page before I explain myself. Your new teacher, who seems pretty annoyed at you because she'll have to be dealing with a delinquent student, as far as she knows at least, just dropped a flyer with maids on it. Why? This isn't here foreshadowing, guys, come on. This is literally putting something that has nothing to do with the scene in the anime for the ones who played the game, and know why she has it. This is off-putting, it just ruins the scene. The game's intent in this scene is to show you how little people respect you, how you're a burden to everyone around you just because you ended up going against the wrong guy to do a righteous act. Mates? Why are they there? Why are you showing all-out attacks at the end of every single fight? And most importantly, why are you not placing the right backgrounds, the right sounds, and skipping most of the animation keyframes? Have you ever played the game? Do you remember that character Atlus never even showed in trailers? The one that they kept this aura of mystery around, the ace detective you see every now and then? Well, clearly P5A stands for Persona 5 Akechi, because Goro is there all the damn time, even when he shouldn't be there, even when a spoiler scene is shown just to give you more screen time. Go ahead, call all of this nitpicking. But the general feel all of this give together is that this anime doesn't know why it does things. It really feels like someone sat down, played the game, and thought, damn, I like these things, we have to put them in the anime, and forced someone to add them to an already written storyboard. Seriously, try this. Skip these parts in the anime. Everything still works perfectly. No, sometimes even better. Try and remove the all-out attacks in the main game instead. It loses so much. Please, whoever is doing this, stop with adding useless things and try to focus on the scenes you have. Give them meaning, show how characters feel. Don't use those seconds to show mates, show Kawakami's expression instead, make her sigh, whatever. Alright, I've been going for too long here. You understand what I mean at this point. The one counter-argument to this that I can think of is that the anime isn't going for a one-on-one replica of the game. It wants to do the things in its own way. A scene that explains how a character feels in the game can be replaced with comedy relief in the anime. They can manage it their own way. And to that I say, that's exactly right. Here comes the difference though. The anime isn't just doing things in its own way. It's trying to emulate aspects of the game by throwing them in, as they are, randomly, in scenes that are original in the show. It's not working. You either go and change stuff up to suit your vision on how to handle the story, or you follow the game, mashing both without understanding the reason why the game does things. It's dumb. It doesn't work. Look at the Persona 4 anime. Not golden, for the love of God. It does things very much in its own way. Characters hang out, social links develop in original ways. I loved it. As much as people complain about it, you can see that the people behind it understood Inaba, the students of Yasogami High School, and every relationship between them. The interactions were fresh and felt like they were indeed extending the game with an animation. In the Persona 5 animation, they just seem to be changing characters to speed up things. Oh, you need to try and get Takemi to give you special medicine? Nah, here in the anime she just throws a random kid cocaine like every doctor, right? Right? It's off-putting, really. You knew this was coming. And before you rush to your keyboard, yes, I am aware that animation is one thing and art is another. If you aren't up to speed in simple terms, one moves, the other doesn't. The elements that make each of them good are very much different, and this anime doesn't do either of them well. No, I'm not talking about how terribly done the guy in the background is, because background characters really don't matter as much as the main ones. Let's start with animation. It's low budget. It uses tricks way too often to cover how little money they decided to spend on it. Moving camera when characters are always in the same position instead of having them move. Missing keyframes in important animations like all other attacks where, well, they're barely animated. So many dialogues where you get a shot of the characters from afar as they stand still and talk without barely any body language animation or details to expressions. CG models that suddenly distract you from the events because of how obvious and forced they look. I could be missing more criticisms, but I guess I made my point. The whole show looks way too little animated for an animation, and at this point it truly does feel like watching the game's cutscenes gives out more about the characters and their feelings. They at least move in the game. So yeah, animation isn't good. How about art? Well, I don't know if I can fault A1 Pictures for this too much. The characters in Persona 5 are supposed to have a lot of detail, definitely much more than this anime. Especially with the budget it seems to have, can handle. The cutscenes in the game are animated by Production IG, a studio known for works like Ghost in the Shell. You can't compare it with A1. And that is fine. The actual problem is that it takes away from the experience. Again and again, especially if you mix wonky art with bad or boring animation. Look, I know art and animation quality don't make an anime. Konosuba is one of my favorite anime, and it's animated by Studio Dean, infamous for its bad animation quality. And yet it works, because the anime is a comedy that uses the exaggerated expressions and motions for comedic effect. I'm not even asking for a movie-like quality. As I said, it's impossible. But for an anime for a franchise as popular and important as Persona, you can't tell me higher quality art wasn't possible. I just can't believe you. And listen, I will admit, I'm not an anime expert, but I have watched a few shows that were indeed able to put quality every week, and have even some gorgeous art. Just to name a studio, Kyoto Animation is probably my favorite, even with shows that are more than 5 years old, like Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions, which is another favorite of mine. From 2012, by the way, 6 years ago. Seriously, let's compare the two real quick. Stiff, barely animated dialogues for Persona 5. For Chunibyo, we have actual body language, as characters talk and interact. Their feelings are animated, and not just in that one or two meaningful scenes, but during the whole episode. And not only during close-ups either. That is the difference, and that is what irks me the most. Characters matter. Actually, to me, often they're even more important than the story itself. If you have a well-developed cast, you can have as many clichés as you like. I'll be watching just to see how the characters react to the events happening to them. The anime is failing to make anyone act as something that isn't a piece of cardboard. And do you know why? Because they are animated as cardboard. Also, let me say this real quick. A1 Pictures is a big studio. It's not the bad animations one. I genuinely enjoy lots of their works. For example, I felt like Blend S, very recently, was very nice visually, and that anime also is made by A1. So I feel like bashing the entire studio is unfair. It's the group working on this one that deserves the criticism. I'll be skimming over this last section mostly because it's random complaints that do not really deserve to be explained. Let's see. Random Amiga so far has been a blank state in every possible way. It barely interacts with others and basically talks only when he's asked questions. He never says anything insightful and could easily not be there. This is not a case of character development that still has to happen, because he has no character so far. In the game, he's a silent protagonist, yes, but remember, he tries to coerce a doctor into giving him illegal medicine. Here, the doctor saw him and decided to give it to him. He has no character. Not a character that needs to be developed. His presence to conversations never adds anything. I mentioned it before, but Gorokechi is always present for no reason. Stop showing him so much when he has no reason to be there. I get he was ranked first in character polls in Japan, but putting him on screen all the time just makes me tired of him. It takes away that aura of mystery you could be giving him. Battles are some of the worst I've ever seen. The show acts as if they're turn-based, while it should be pulling away that gameplay layer. Given how this is an animation, enemies look at Joker and friends as they attack freely. This animation, when flashbacks happen, is an insult to the one that was in the game. Come on, really? Music seems to be put there randomly just because it sounds good. Sometimes you'll listen to a track from the game for a few seconds just to remind you the success of the original product. I may make another video at the end of this anime or later down the line. I hope they fix the general quality and writing of this show, but the 5 episodes that have been released so far can't be changed. Maybe the animation quality when Blu-rays release, but animation isn't the only problem here as explained. I've seen people comment on how they're still enjoying this show despite the problems, and most of these people are the ones who never played the game and are going in blind. The thing I can't get over is that while you could find the anime enjoyable, it's doing many things considerably worse than they were in the game. This could have been an incredible anime that expanded the game's experience and told the story in a way more cinematic and less gameplay dependent way. So far, despite not having gameplay, the anime seems to want to be limited by it. Please, A1 Pictures, give a better look at your scripts and fix them. You can still do this, especially for the latter part of the anime. I believe you can still do something special. This video is not what I generally do. I found it interesting to write and edit this though, so if you like this kind of opinionated video, please leave a comment saying it. And no, I'm not going like, comment and subscribe as an outro. I genuinely wonder how this is, since it's the first time I do something like this. Also, I'm usually open to discussion. If you disagree with some of my points, just let me know and explain yourself. Just blindly disliking the video doesn't change my opinion. You can explain yours though. Thank you so much for watching, by the way, and have a good day.